Today on the channel from the X-Men animated series line, we've got the long-requested, much-anticipated debut of the animated series Morph.
The spirit of the warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another X-Men animated series unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we've got the long-awaited debut of Morph. But remember, for all your Marvel Legends needs that aren't the animated series, make sure you're hitting up Entertainment Earth. Use the link in the description below or discount code Kyle to save yourself 10% on all in-stock merchandise. And anything over $39 does ship free. Gotta get a deal, as we always say here on the channel. Now, of course, this is a Hasbro Pulse shared Disney store exclusive. Easy for me to say. But that's the only place you can get these guys as of right now. I would not be shocked to see these pop up somewhere else down the line, maybe on carding, something like that. And we'll talk about that when we get him out of the package. And of course, we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. So without further ado, let's see what old Morph has been up to there. Very cool animated VHS style packaging. You guys know I love that. Very cool, a very cool way to go to market with these figures, because the animated series was during the VHS time frame. There was VHS tapes of those. I remember getting some at Pizza Hut back in the day. Shout out to old Pizza Hut there. But Morph looking really good. The X-Men logo, a great X-Men logo. If you are of that age bracket that really was into this series. On the side, you get the cool VHS type spine cover there, looking really good. Marvel Legends at the bottom, Marvel's Morph. X-Men, same thing over there. On the back, you get the UPC, you get warnings, all that. You get a little bit of blurb. We'll read that here in a second about Morph. And then, of course, you get Morph himself. So there it is. Without further ado, let's see what it says about our old friend Morph here. The mutant shapeshifter Morph returns to haunt the X-Men after being captured and manipulated by Mr. Sinister. And of course, Morph was made up, the right word, made up for the X-Men animated series. He was not an actual X-Men member at the time. Obviously, there's been some changes over the years, and he has been into the comic form, and we'll compare it to another Morph figure here in a little bit. But definitely a guy that stole a lot of our hearts, and I guess I understand what they wanted to do in the X-Men animated series. They didn't want to kill off or have hard times for a Gambit or a Rogue or a Beast or a Storm or a Wolverine, some of the more popular characters, so that did make sense to me. See you later, goodbye. Oh, what do we got in here? Got some accessories, gonna need those. We got a little Spider-Man style, bam, see you later, goodbye. And then we get Morph. So we're off to the race here. Shouldn't have to worry about any figure swapping or anything like that. This is a direct Hasbro Pulse thing here. See you later, goodbye. We're off to the races. I do keep this packaging because it is awesome. There you go. No more needs to be said, so I'm going to stick that off to the side. See you later. All right, let's look at what we got with our Morph figure. What does he come with? He does come with two kind of maniacal gripping hands, big hands here. I believe we saw these hands with Bonebreaker, the Build-A-Figure, if I remember correctly as well. But you do have this little open hand action, so cool enough. He does come with two Fists of Fury, so I am happy about that. And then we get two heads. So we got the classic Morph head, and we got the deranged, sinister Morph head here. Morph, of course, was a shapeshifter. He could turn himself into anybody. I thought that was always a really cool thing, and he could do that. And, of course, when he was later found, later on in the series, he was under Mr. Sinister's control. Never a good thing. He's got the old bags under his eyes. He hasn't slept in years. He's off to the races. But very cool. It depends how you want to display your Morph. Do you want to have him with Mr. Sinister? Do you want to have him with your X-Men team? You can go back and forth, choose your own adventure, or buy two of them. Why choose? There you go. But then you do get the articulation on this Morph figure. I guess let's break down some of that articulation right now. You get the arms that go all the way around. You get the bicep cut. You get the single jointed elbow here, so it's old school articulation. Hands removable, hands back and forth. Of course, waist articulation. You do get a nice ab crunch going on. He can do those big old Morph splits. He does have a thigh cut. He does got double jointed pinless knees though, so we will give that up. And he is pinless at top as well. So that does look good. You do get the boot cut, and then you get the ankles back and forth, up and down. I really like that these are sculpted in the kind of thigh braces. We've seen them before with Cyclops, for example. and they always fall down. Always fall down. It's so annoying. I like them being sculpted in. That is such an improvement. That goes a long way. He does have the classic X-Men uniform on, the blue and yellow. We did see, of course, Hasbro PulseCon. They gave us a little, here's the future, and they're going to build out this whole team in this kind of color coordination. I really do like that. I will be picking all those up, as you guys can imagine. Now, he does have his bomber jacket, very Cyclops-esque once again. So he does have his bomber jacket, which I don't hate the bomber jacket. I'm not against it, but I wish it was removable and you could get different arms with this. So if you wanted to have him with the bomber jacket, you could, but you could also display him just in his X-Men team colors. And that's where I do feel that we're going to get this ran back eventually. Now, we do know with these, they do have the cell shading, the animated cell shading. I think we will see a Morph without the cell shading and without the coat. Maybe on Retro Card, for example. There's just too much money to be made off of Morph to have him as a somewhat niche, I guess, Disney Store, Hasbro Pulse exclusive. They got to have one that goes to the Walmarts, the Targets, Entertainment Earths, Big Bad Toy Stores of the world, and I think that's what they will do. So if you're on the fence and you want that version of Morph, you might be able to wait. I mean, I'm just playing Nostradamus here, thinking what's going to come to the future. I will say a piece of articulation I did miss, though, was his butterfly shoulders, so I do like that as well. So that looks good, but it is a little painful with these arms being the coat arms and then the body being different. You're really stuck to just leaving the coat on. That's what you're going to do. So really, really do think we'll get that. And I think without the cell shading, without the coat, I think a lot of people that already have this, like myself, will also get this because then there's a way here that you could display him with the other head. That gives a really true point of difference. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Instead of getting two of these, I'm going to play a little of that long game. I'm going to wait for another edition of Morph, and then I'll see from there what head I want to go on which one. But it does look good as far as it is Morph. I think I would know this as Morph. If you grew up with the animated series, you'd probably know this as Morph if you saw it. Nice X logo on the coat as well. Good articulation on that head. He can look way up there. He can look way down, side to side. So good articulation throughout. Does he fit on a ringside collectible stand? That's always a test we do. He fits like a glove. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Very, very cool. Now, the cool thing about Morph, I'm sure this head pops off, and it does, and I do have a Wolverine head sitting right here. So you guys know how Morph was in the series. He'd be always moving around, changing things, doing things. So we know these Marvel Legend characters, we get tons of different heads and things. You could swap any of those over to Morph, and remember the original Morph toy back in the old days, the old Toy Biz days, he came with some extra heads, so you could do that very thing. So I always had a lot of fun mixing up heads and doing stuff like that. I always thought that was a cool feature of Morph. Unfortunately, we don't get any extra heads or anything like that with this one. We just got to choose our own adventure, and this Wolverine head I had handy because it worked out so well. I also have the Wolverine from the animated series, just an awesome Wolverine. I really do like this one. So you get these two buddies back together. Let them take on some Sentinels. One shall triumph, one shall fall. I think we know which one that was. But Wolverine, there's a little animated series. Of course, you got to have Mr. Sinister, his old buddy, I guess, the one that took Morph over and changed him from a good guy into a bad guy, confused his thoughts, all that kind of stuff. So you have Mr. Sinister. This, once again, is the animated series Mr. Sinister. So keeping it in the animated series house, I guess we'll call it there. So there it is. And then I did grab the Age of Apocalypse Morph, and we know about that figure from the Age of Apocalypse. Not quite the Morph we think of when we think of Morph, but at the end of the day, it is a Morph. So there it is. Metamorphosis, if you will. But man, it is cool to get Morph finally. It feels like it's been centuries since we've seen a Morph figure. I do truly expect us to get another one. I think without the jacket, maybe some extra heads, things like that. We'll see what happens in the future. But I do think we haven't seen our last of Morph in the Marvel Legends line. But very good. Is it the greatest figure of the year? No, but it definitely fills a hole in our collection for this animated series line. And we do know the animated series line is coming to an end as they transition over to the Spider-Man animated series, but it sounded like there was a possibility they would go back to this series in the future. So I guess we'll stay tuned for that, but we'll turn our attention to Spider-Man going forward in 2023 and possibly beyond. But what say you guys out there in YouTube land? What are your thoughts on this Morph figure? All in, all out, thinking about it, easy pass, waiting for the next one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, don't forget to like this video. You made it this far. You might as well give it the old thumbs up. It always helps the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to this very channel and hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss a video, and the notification bell will help you with that. Also, don't forget about the Patreon, link in the description below. Early access to videos like this, bonus content, exclusive content, all the bells and whistles over there on the Patreon. It's the best way to truly support the channel. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson, and don't forget to hit me up on social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Morph and people that change their face everywhere, I am Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.